Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 580. Hopefully, I've got a great episode to cap off your weekend with. I've got a great guest, someone we have much respect for. JinxProof Genetics, JinxProof.
Hello, I'm Eagle.
How you doing, my friend? It's awesome to have you on the show for round 3.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you.
You want to go ahead and tell everybody how you're doing and where they can find you these days, because Instagram can be such a butthead.
Yeah, I'm currently, my account that I've had for so many years is currently on suspension, which would normally be underscore JinxProof. I'm currently appealing it, which they're still letting me appeal it, which is a good thing because that means that it's still there. If they won't let you appeal it, that means it's gone. So, but I'm currently hanging out on JinxProof 2.0 on Instagram, and our website is JinxProofsDankBank.net. JinxProofs with an S on the end of dankbank.net. So I've been messing around a little bit on Reddit, but I'm kind of a cyber dummy. So it's been real confusing to me navigating it and stuff like that. So mostly Instagram. And I figured out today how to load videos on my YouTube from my phone, because I didn't have, before I would like film it, my buddy would edit it and stuff, but I just realized, they're doing those YouTube shorts. So now you can just make a quick video and load it straight to YouTube from your phone. So I did my first one today, just a little test drive. So, but that's mostly it.
Right on. That's awesome. Are you going to start loading up your morning, good vibes there?
You know what?
The YouTube.
A few years ago, my bonus son went through my Instagram and he took every video I'd made at the time and turned it into videos. So you can actually go and see up to a certain date, every video I'd ever made. It's a lot of them. It was kind of a cool thing for him to do. I really appreciate it. It was kind of fun. You know what I mean? I think it'll take me a minute to get a crowd to YouTube because I don't YouTube a lot, but there are a few videos on there. But yeah, I'll probably start loading those up. But like I said, there's actually, maybe 1,000 of them loaded up on there, if not more. So he did a few years worth. I figured it out the other day because I actually know the first day I ever did one, I've actually done 20,000 of them. So it's kind of funny.
That's pretty damn impressive, Jinx.
It's kind of funny because if I don't have one loaded up by like a certain time, people start writing Miss Rose to make sure I'm okay. Because like the few times I've missed my videos was because I had a seizure from my epilepsy or something like that. But actually when I'm down, Rose does them for me. So, but it is kind of funny that if I'm a little bit late or something like that, people actually start checking in on me. It's kind of cool.
That's got to be a fucking great feeling, brother.
Yeah,
right
it is.
There.
It is.
You do have a shit ton of respect in the community, that's for sure.
Oh, thanks.
Both for your positive message for the day and your work in with autism and just your fire genetics. So there is lots of love in the community for JinxProof. So cheers to you.
Yeah, I mean it
So,
should be.
what's
It's
up?
a big stage. It's a big stage to stand on. So why not use it for something productive?
So what's going on? What's up with JinxProof? It's been about 6-7 months since we talked last, and we're coming up on basically the fun times for cannabis, the spring, summer months. What's new? What's coming up for this year?
Well, I mean, with me, it's always more and new breedings. I recently finished a batch of Hell on Wheels breeding, which I took some my Hell on Wheels male and bred it to a few different strains, creating some new strains. We did I did a Hell on Wheels times 9-pound punch, which we actually did not that one, my bad. I'm sorry, I'm confusing a few things here. But that one we Miss Rose just recently named Hella Lit. and that just hit the website, so it's just currently out. And we got whenever I do a breeding, it's hard. It's almost never just something times something. Usually it's like a male times a few females. So that's why I call it a Hell on Wheels breeding, because there's a few different moms in there and stuff like that. So that's the current thing. And right now I'm doing a comfortably dumb breeding in my small tent, and then in my room I'm doing a hash gooseberry breeding. So those are the fathers, and then there'll be different females in there. So we just released the Hella Lit, and then we have another one releasing in a few days. I think Miss Rose just named it Main Squeeze. So, but it takes me a minute to get stuff out, because we test grow everything and by more than one person. So it take, even when I finish a strain, it'll take a minute to get it out there, if it gets out there, assuming it passes the test grow and stuff like that. So that's been the current new stuff going on.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I really appreciate the fact that you're kind of in-house breeding these days instead of looking to bring in something hypey. You know what I mean? Just for popularity sake, or you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
prefer to see breeders work their own breeders group work their own strains like you're doing, kind of coming up with something new and unique. So I
yeah.
greatly appreciate that fact.
I do both. I try to stay away from hype strains. Sometimes you can't avoid it because strains just become hype. But my biggest goal in my next few breedings will probably be strictly JinxProof times JinxProof. I like working with other breeders' strains. I totally don't mind, and I like when people work with my strains too. You know what I mean? And it's a compliment. The only thing I don't like is when people F2 or back cross your stuff, because that's not breeding. That's just stealing someone else's work. But you know, plenty of people have from established breeders to guys I've never even heard of, or maybe never will hear of, use my strains across, and that doesn't bother me at all. I actually kind of like it. So some people actually even write me and ask for permission, which is cool. So usually I hit those guys up. I was like, go for it, but send me a few packs for my autism auctions when you're done. So good avenue to go at that with. So, but yeah, definitely one of my goals. Probably starting my next breedings will be a JinxProof times JinxProof. So.
So, do you have any plans to work in some CBD lines? I think I've seen something with you work a little bit with dung beetle on some CBD stuff. Will that be a possibility under the umbrella sometime soon?
Absolutely. I did one strain. I didn't like the way it turned out, and one of my test growers, who I know has an immaculate garden, came up with some problems as far as the stabilization. So I'm not going to release that, because I don't release unstable strains anyways, but to release an unstable CBD strain just seems even worse, because it's usually not just stoners buying that stuff. It's usually people that actually need medicine and are dealing with something pretty serious in their life. And I would hate to think, somebody with a serious disorder like cancer or something spent all this time growing all this shit, and then to, have it math out or have some problems with it to where they couldn't finish it up. That would just be devastating to those people and me. So, but yeah, I've currently recently got a cutting of ACDC, and I think we might do a little work with that, and just kind of searching around for strains that I like and want to use that definitely show the high CBD ratio. So they won't be like strictly CBD strains. They'll be hybrids with the THC and CBD. So I'm pretty. A lot of people assume because I have kind of a high profile that I have like this huge area that I breed in, like a warehouse or something like that. I totally don't. I have like a 30-foot room and a tent, which is how I prefer to keep it. Kind of, I'm more of a microbrew person than I am a Budweiser guy. And, so like, yeah, craft brewing, I consider it like craft breeding, so to speak, and like to keep it that way. So.
And again, I can appreciate that for reals.
Yeah.
Is Fems ever gonna be in the future?
Well, Coming from the, I mean, most people know that, I got into this game with Subcool, and, I kind of, um, I was his distributor, and then I started breeding seeds, and he actually became my distributor as well, back and forth. And Sub was an adamant no femmes guy, you know what I mean? So I kind of, beginning of the game with the breeders and stuff like that, I kind of adapted to that game, I guess you could say. And a lot of it came from his influence and stuff. I mean, he used to actually wear a shirt that said, let's say femmes are for wussies. And I have seen people run into problems with femmes, which is usually once you start cloning them. But the more I think about it, and I get so many requests for it, and I kind of have come to the conclusion that it's not really my business to tell people what to grow. You know what I mean? If they want femmes, that's their business. And I do understand, some people don't have room. Like if you plant 6 seeds and 3 of them are males, or even worse, like what a drag. So we are talking about doing some femmes. It'll be, nothing major. I'm not going to go out and fem my whole line. I think we'll probably start with the hammer, because it's the, the one that most people would want. So we'll probably do that, and maybe a couple other plants in there with it. But yeah, we're definitely talking about it and setting that up. And same thing, I can only do things so fast because I'm a small craft breeder, so to speak. So, but it's definitely something we're taking more serious now. And for some reason, it's all that the European market wants. Like I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe because it's more illegal over there, they can't afford to have a male, like we're saying, in their room, to take up that space. But the European market, that's all they want from me as femme. So I think we're gonna give it a little shot and see how it goes, and kind of feel that part out a little bit, so.
Right on, right on. Man, I've had guests even lately, on growing the 9-pound hammer, and just as stoked about it today as we were almost 10 years ago. Can you believe it's been almost, fucking that long at least
I,
now since the hammer's kicked out?
I can't believe it, tell you the truth. One thing, one thing in life is the older you get, the faster time goes. You know what I mean? Like when you're in your 20s, it seems like time's creeping. I mean, I'm 53 now, and I swear every time I blink an eye, my son's a year older, or this is happening, or that's happening. So I really can't believe it's been 10 years. It sure doesn't seem like it. You know what I mean? But, and to be honest with you, it's still my top seller. You know what I mean? No matter what I come out with, no matter how bomb something is or how popular it gets, the hammer is still my mainstay. It's still the one. If anybody goes to my site and they're only going to order 1 pack, it's most likely going to be 9-pound hammer. So, which is great, because you always get the, like you used earlier, the expression hype strain. It's outlived the expression hype strain. So which is a real compliment from the community.
Well, when it comes to 9-pound hammer, I'm sure you're quite honored to have hype kind of attached to the hammer, because it's definitely worth having. A lot of people definitely either have it or want it in their gardens. And like I said, people are still, everybody is excited about it today, as I was growing it way back then when it first was released. I giggle. I still giggle because I'm like, yes, yes. I was on the beginning curve there. You know what I mean? To know enough to grab the fire and
Yeah,
keep it in
and
my garden.
it's the strain that pushed me into the light of people taking me serious as a breeder. You know what I mean? I mean, it was nice like that. So I mean, I certainly can't complain. It was actually the first strain I ever bred for the public ever. So like my sub wrote me a letter, and he said, "Man, you hit it out of the ballpark with that one, brother." And coming from him, that was quite a compliment. And like I say, to this day, it's still our main jam. It's still the one people consistently want. You know what I mean? So hasn't taken a back seat yet. So.
Oh, shit. they're missing out. I was talking to a gentleman, fellow weed nerd from Ireland area there, the UK-ish, and we were very reminiscent of the Shangri-La and the pink hash that you can get from certain phenos from it. And that's just a super tasty strain anyway. But if you were lucky enough to get one of those pink phenos, it made just amazing, beautiful hash.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that it had made it so far around the world. I mean, how's that to the heart when you're seeing people grow it around the world? It's not like something you created and it's, your local state or county, but kick it off around the friggin' world. It's got to do your heart good, my friend.
It absolutely does. It's pretty exciting. The cool thing about social media is you get to connect with these people. Like I might not have never known, you know what I mean? And there's been a couple guys. One was actually in Scotland, and we started writing back and forth. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna video call this guy today on Instagram, just cause he seems like a cool guy. He's in Scotland, growing Shangri-La. You know what I mean? And we've kind of become friends through it. And it's a cool thing because like we'll turn on our video cameras and he's in Scotland and he's a caretaker of a castle. That's his job. So he actually lives in a castle and grows JinxProof genetics inside it because it's a historic landmark. So they pay him to keep it up. And it's cool because he'll like flick on his video. I'm like, yeah, here's more castle, man. I can't even do the accent. But then he flips over and he's like, that's the Loch Ness River. Like, this castle is literally on the Loch Ness River. It's like, what a cool thing to have made it all the way around the world being grown in a castle, and, like I said, the other part of that is it's cool. One of the cool sides of social media is to be able to connect with people around the world. I have a guy that grows my seeds in Africa. Took him 6 months to get them. At that point, I pretty much thought he wasn't getting them, like the mail intercepted him or something, but he finally got them and he sends me pictures and it's pretty cool. It's neat, It's quite the compliment. And it's like I said, it's fun just meeting people, from other continents, not just other countries, So it's kind of funny though, because I just posted a picture of Shangri-La today, which I haven't in a long time. So it's funny you bring that up.
Oh, it's an amazing strain. I've enjoyed quite a few of your stuff. I still haven't had the chance to drop that wiped out yet, but that is certainly. I'm in the middle of tearing down and resetting up the garden in another location, so it's definitely top on the new garden list. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah.
I'm
You
very
won't.
much looking forward to that.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. It's one I've been smoking a lot lately. I have my little I always post my random nug jar, and a lot of those nugs in there I have no idea what they are, because they've been in there, some of them been in there so long they take on each other's smell, and from being in the same jar they kind of marry each other and stuff like that. But the wiped out I can always pick out, like, oh, that's wiped out right there. I can just pick it out and no doubt about it, that's what I'm smoking. But lately it's kind of been a day starter for me, the one I start my day with. So excited about that. Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of people lately I've seen and a positive thing, the be positive thing is rubbed off immensely throughout the community. And a lot of people have taken note in with the new, how shall I say, influence or influencer uh, status, I guess, wanting to start doing the right things with their time. And they always quote JinxProof as one of the reasons and one of the people they look up to for wanting to start charitable purposes. Do you have any advice for somebody that wants to use their kind of influence to start a fundraiser or a charity?
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things, like, just do it. You know what I mean? You don't have to be super popular or anything like that. Like if you're a flower grower, maybe set depending on how much you can afford aside, maybe set a quarter ounce or a quarter pound. Be like, I'm going to get rid of this, and when I do, I'm going to donate it to Northwest Families for Autism, or a blind charity, or what's your passion, what's something that's affected your life, you know what I mean? We have a campaign here in Seattle I don't talk about a lot, but we used to help out a lot. It was called the Home Alive campaign, and it taught mostly females and homosexual younger people how to get home alive, because we had a singer here, Mia Zapata, the Gits, who took a shortcut home after she played a show and was murdered. And that's what, had she gone home with somebody that night, she only lived a few blocks away. Had she gone home with somebody that night, or somebody walked her home, kind of thing, she'd still be alive today. So, and they're just a small thing, but any money they can get, because they teach they teach and preach that, to not go home alone. And they also give free self-defense classes. So if you do end up in that situation, you have a fighting chance to escape it, So, that was close to my heart, because I'm a huge Gits fan, which she was a singer of the Gits. And, so just, what are you passionate about? Has something affected your life? Has, somebody in your family blind? Has somebody in your family been raped? Has somebody in your family or friends, got PTSD from going to war, or whatever it is? I mean, there's endless, you know what I mean? If you Google anything, you'll find somebody that needs help with, especially an organization, and then look into that organization and see whether they're worth having your money. So I mean, just do your thing. You could go to the store and buy a couple carts of food and take it to the local food bank. You know what I mean? So, which is something we've done too, which I really enjoy, because I grew up in the projects with my pops, and there was times where we got food from the food bank, or people from churches or stuff came and dropped food off, and helped us out during Christmas and things like that. And when we've done it a few times, we go shopping after we're done buying essentials. I like to go get a bunch of pudding cups and a granola bar, or stuff that kids are actually going to enjoy, you know what I mean, aside from just canned food or rice, or stuff like that. Because I mean, these families still have kids, and what kid doesn't want a pudding cup, or a treat, so to speak, however you want to put it. So that's fun for me. And we have the local kids here. I take them with me, shopping with me, and then we drop the food off at the food bank together, which they really enjoy. And I hope it in the hopes that it instills that inside of them too, because for me, I call our charity, I even warn people, careful, because it's crack for the soul. You know what I mean? It creates such an awesome feeling inside to help somebody and do something for somebody. It can be addictive, you know what I mean? So that's definitely me, you know what I mean? I love that part. Miss Rose too, she's a crackhead for helping people, and it's so fun, it's a good kind of crackhead, if you're going to be a crackhead,
Yeah, it can be very addicting, and I can see why more and more people are wanting to start do more and more of that type of work with within the Canon community. I'm very excited to see it, to be honest
Yeah.
with
Yeah, it's awesome.
So outside of Canon funding for iPads and stuff like that, is there a direct link that cannabis helps with autism? Is there anything that you've kind of found in your journey that like that?
Yeah, I've definitely helped some children find medicine, whether it be RSO or tinctures or whatnot. There's a lady, Mieko Perez. She's one of my heroes. I think it might be Mieko _ Perez, Perez on Instagram. If not, then just one solid name. But she's a big time marijuana autism advocate for children. And her son was autistic. Unfortunately, he had some chronic diseases also that he did pass, but it helped her son so much. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that CBDs or cannabis are going to cure autism, but they sure help with some of the side effects. A lot of autistic kids do what's called stimming. You see a lot of autistic kids, and they call it flapping. They're flapping. Like Jinxie Jr. does this thing. and it looks really weird. It looks like he's casting a spell on you or something. That's what his MMA coach says. Looks like he's casting a spell on somebody, or a lot of continuous stop movement that they can't control. It's called stimming because they're self-stimulating. They have so much energy inside of them that they have to release it somehow, and that's where the flapping comes through. And almost everybody stims, they just don't know it. Whether whether you're tapping your foot or wiggling your foot back together, or just little things that people don't realize that are minor forms of stimming, but in autism, they can almost be debilitating forms, and it could definitely help with that. Helps them, cool and calm down. It could definitely help with sleep, which is a huge problem with autism. Eating, another problem with autism, and affection. A lot of autistic kids do not want to be touched, and that's a tough one. Could you imagine wanting to hug your kid and he doesn't want to hug, doesn't want to crawl into your lap? You know what I mean? So, a lot of kids that have been medicated, their parents would tell them like, yeah, he just came up, crawled on the couch and got in my lap. Sat there and watched TV, all relaxed. And the idea isn't to get them stoned. By all means, it's still a growing, functioning brain that still needs to not be stoned. But just that teeny bit enough that would help them calm down or help them eat, or things like that. And like I said, Mieko Perez, she's one of my heroes, and the coolest thing about her is when she started her journey, her professional job was she worked for a bunch of lawyers, and she was very scared to admit to anybody that I'm medicating my child, because you get CPS at your door in a minute, you know what I mean? And the lawyers told her, go for it. Like, this law firm has your back, and they're a fat law firm. Like, they ain't afraid. Like, we dare them. You know what I mean? So because of that, she's been on Diane Sawyer. She's been on Jimmy Fallon. Like, she's spoken out and been able to show these people like, yeah, it does help, and and I ain't afraid of you. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. Like I say, she's you've probably heard me talk about her before, and you'll definitely hear me talk about her again. Because she's was a huge influence on me getting involved with helping people, especially autistic kids, so love you, Mieko. I know you're out there.
And it had to be a little reassuring to have somewhat of a lawyer taking your back like that, or her back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They weren't just like lawyers, they're like a big time firm that does big time stuff. You know what I mean? Like I say, she got no problem. No one's ever challenged her or came at her, because you don't walk up to a professional boxer and take a swing, you know better. So that's all I look at it. But kudos to her. Like I say, she's one of my heroes. So
congratulations to you and Junior on the state champion title. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
right
it wasn't Junior. It was one of his classmates from MMA. So
okay.
Junior doesn't personally fight, nor does he want to. He mostly works out and plays and just gets a lot of support from the team, and especially the coach. And it's a great release for him to go to MMA. But it's actually one of the kids from the class, and 113 pound state champion. It's pretty incredible, and it's a big deal. It's in the Tacoma Dome, which is a huge arena. You know what I mean? It's where like a professional football team would play, and 64 fights at a time. Like, that's how big a deal this is. I mean, there's 64 matches at a time, and this kid just took a state champion. We're super proud of him. We call him Gorda. Good kid, great dad. So yeah, we're really proud of him. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm then MMA or sports does play a little bit of a role still in your life, then I take it, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah, we go 3 times a week, and it's nice too. I get, aside from Junior, the coach involves me with the team. A lot of times he's had me give them like kind of mini motivational speeches, or talk about certain things, about being a winner. If you go in that ring and you fought your hardest, doesn't matter what the referee said, you're still coming out a winner. And just trying to encourage them and stuff. There's been a few kids that were you could even say troubled and even having a hard time like not trying and just doing stupid things. And he like kind of assigned them to me, which was such an honor. And their parents accepted that and were cool. And they've both just come so far, and it's such an honor to see them step back into the dojo and try hard and work hard. And one of the kids I was working with a month later came home with a gold and a silver medal, which was just which was great for me, because this was a kid that wasn't even trying. His mom and dad were going through a divorce. He had a lot of shit on his plate, but he relates to me and likes me and stuff. So we started working on positive affirmations and thought patterns and stuff like that. And for him to do that was a win for me. You know what I mean? It was pretty neat. I mean, anybody that's been hanging out with JinxProof, they know I'm all about the kids and I love the kids. So it's awesome. I love that stuff. So
You're awesome, brother, for taking time for the kids. And it's really amongst all the other admirable things that we've talked about that you do. I would say that's one of the most admirable things you
thanks.
do. These days, kids need something to look forward to, be drawn to. And I'm glad that you're taking a hand in keeping some of these kids active and being a role model for them.
Yeah.
That's super huge.
Yeah. And the fact is, it does as much for me as it does for them. Being a part of that, and like saying, seeing the success of some of these kids or the turnaround and their attitude, it's as good for me as it is them. We're all human. I struggle with things. I've struggled with depression, and after I became epileptic and had a bunch of seizures, it really messed with my mind and stuff like that. So I need encouragement and I need positivity and stuff like that too. So doing that for them, it's a boomerang. It comes right back and puffs you right back up too and keeps you on your feet. And so like I was saying earlier, stuff like that is crack for the soul. Well, it's the same thing, working with these kids. It's pretty awesome. And kudos to the coach too for involving me like that, because he didn't have to. And he's the coach. I'm a parent sitting on the sideline watching all these kids. So for him to draw me in like that is, one time I gave my little talk, and at the end of them, coach said, "Did you hear him?" And they all looked at me and said, "Yes, coach." Because that's when the coach says something, you answer, and you answer with the enthusiasm. "Yes, coach," or he'll call you out like, "Did you all hear me?" You know what I mean? So for them to do that to me, it was like, it was pretty cool. It was pretty rewarding, pretty exciting.
So through your cannabis evolution here, the last few years, the people you've gotten to meet, places you've gotten to go, how would you say it's curved Jinx in the last 10 years? How is it? What have you learned? What have you gained? What have some of the lessons been through cannabis?
Yeah. Some of it's almost hard to put into words, but I've learned a lot of, not just about other people, but about myself, and the power of being open and honest, and the power of this whole be positive movement. And one of my favorite things is like when I go to a convention or a show, and usually younger men, not always, but usually younger men, come up to me and they tell me how much the positive movement or my videos and stuff have done for them. And they'll even give me scenarios of how and why, and it's pretty damn awesome. You know what I mean? It's like I enjoy that more than like, a lot of people come up to the booth and be like, "Bro, 9-pound hammer is the best weed I've ever smoked. I fucking love it." Yeah, yeah. But when a young guy or woman comes up to your booth and tells them that you've made an impact in their life, or because I take 30 seconds in the morning and make a video, you know what I mean? That it's changed the way they're looking at things and the way they're acting and treating people and stuff. It's been quite rewarding for me, and has helped me grow a lot too. You know what I mean? As a person, and and just I hate the word influencer, but as a, a person that's out there on social media that people are tuning in to check in on and see what's going down and stuff, to have a, you know, to have made that effect. There's more to this community than getting on video and doing a 5-inch dab. So if we can, if we can do something like that, it's pretty awesome. So it's done a lot for me, and I've definitely made some, like you included, I've definitely made some good and new friends, people I definitely never would have been exposed to, and stuff like that. And, lifelong friends, not just followers messaging each other, but actually, friends and family, it's pretty cool. So.
I definitely appreciate the fact, as busy as you are, anybody that's stopped at the booth or been around you, you've taken you're the type of person to take time and say hello, listen to a story. It isn't here, get your stuff and get away from my booth. Actually,
Yeah.
you want to be there. You want to stay connected with the community, and
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
another I admire about you, my friend. I said it before and I'll say it again. You're a tough son of a bitch, man. You've been through a lot, and seizures, the brain surgery, heart attack. You have lots of reasons you could be want to keep to yourself and slow down, but you don't. You
No,
don't. You keep
no.
pushing on and you doing more and more to help out, and I think that's amazing by you. You might be positive, but you're an A+ person, my friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's you know, it takes the same amount of energy to be a asshole as it does to be a nice guy. So why spend that energy on something, like say it all comes back? So why spend that energy on being a prick, knowing damn well it's going to come back? And I just enjoy it too. I love connecting with people. I've always been a pretty social guy, and I love meeting people at shows, that come up and just introduce themselves, especially when it's a fellow special needs parent, or something like that. I've had some pretty incredible moments, so, I mean, there's definitely times I got to get out of my booth and give this man or this lady a hug. It's like it had nothing to do with cannabis, but it was cannabis that brought us all together too. So what a wonderful thing too. You know, it's fun. So.
Yeah, I definitely have a ton of respect for. Is there anything in the future that you're looking forward to? Is there anything on the bucket list? I mean, shit, you're a pretty busy guy. Is there? So, what are some of the goals left on JinxProof's bucket list?
Right now it's almost the opposite. Like I'm kind of backpedaling a little bit. Um, I mean, I was part of a legal farm for a minute, and I thought that was going to be a really cool, exciting thing, and it wasn't. It was kind of a bad experience for me. I'm not throwing any names out there. I'm not throwing anybody on the bus, or airing any dirty laundry, but just it wasn't a good experience for me. I definitely wasn't happy being involved with that. I mean, I would still love to be involved in the legal side of things too, but it wasn't a great experience for me. So I'm kind of backpedaling on that. And like you said, with the brain surgery, the heart attack, blah blah blah. And, I'm I don't want to say idle, but I'm kind of chilling right now. I'm not trying not to put too much more on my plate. You know what I mean? So my main focus right now is doing what I've already been doing. My son, my wife, and just kind of things just come to you. Like I didn't grow up thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna be a seed breeder. You know what I mean? It's something I kind of stumbled into by being friends with Subcool and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of, I'm optimistic like that. Like you never know what I'm gonna stumble into next. You know what I mean? So I mean, same thing when I was a tattooist. I just kind of stumbled into it. It wasn't like a childhood dream or anything like that. So I just like we'll see what the earth throws at me next. So nothing too major in the works right now. So
Hey, there is not a damn thing wrong with that. I've talked to a few people over my journey, and it's kind of weird. Um, when we speak of like kind of changing careers and getting into the cannabis career, uh, more full time, people tend to, when they answer that or throw that out there, tend to act guilty or, like it's a bad thing or whatever. And I'm like, no, 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 no. It's about quality of life, and cannabis has offered a hell of a quality of life in a lot of ways. So to hear that, you've been able to have cannabis in your life, use your breeding for great things, and now be able to spend time with your family, doing things with your love, with you things that you love with your family. Uh, that's perfect quality of life, man. I'm stoked that you've been able to achieve that, my friend.
Thanks.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah,
Realistically.
it is.
Uh,
And it's about passion. I've met a lot of people that are definitely in the cannabis industry, but are not passionate about it. It's maybe a way to make quick money or this or that, which is actually not true. It's pretty tough to make money in the cannabis industry. Like here in Washington, if you own a legal farm, like cannabis doesn't go for much. You know what I mean? So, it's not you're not just gonna open this farm and be like, rolling in the Benjamins. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work, and you gotta grow a lot of high quality cannabis. Cause like to me, I almost compare it to like growing corn. Like, do you know how much corn you gotta grow to make a lot of money? Like 10 cents an ear. It's getting that way with cannabis. So, which in a way I don't mind because it weeds out just the money seekers from the people that truly love growing cannabis and don't care, whether they make a bunch of money or a little bit of money. Hopefully the earth will set it up so those who are passionate about it can maybe actually, make a living so they can actually focus on it and do their passion. You know what I mean? So, I mean, life is too short to not be doing stuff you're not passionate about. You know what I mean? I've been to legal farms where the owner has never smoked weed. Like, I get it if you don't smoke weed, like maybe you did and you want, but like I've never smoked weed. It's just like, so to me, it's so bizarre. It's only about money. So you can't, money doesn't really drive much passion, unless your passion is wearing gold chains and driving Mercedes or something, like, so it's, you know,
Yeah, I call the folks that are pretty much in it that don't smoke cannabis or haven't smoked cannabis. I think they're members of the cannabis industry, not
yeah,
in a community per se.
yeah, that's a great way to put it. I'm going to recycle that. So, yeah, I really don't want to be part of the industry. You know what I mean? So being with a high profile, I have been approached by people, you know, to do like a major seed company who I do not like, like, dude, I can make you so much money and this and that. And I was just like, I just hung up the phone. I was like, nah, not me, bro. I ain't the one, so, I mean, I suppose it's like that in any aspect in life.
Has your growing style or breeding style changed with some of the great folks you've met throughout the years?
No, I'm kind of old school. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The first time I made a major change was going from nutrients to living soil. That's, it was definitely Sub that encouraged that in me and taught me him and Vic High's original super soil recipe. And, and throughout that, I learned a lot more about, like what makes cannabis thrive and why we're putting this stuff in the dirt compared to just following a written regiment on the back of somebody's bottle and stuff. And lately I've been hanging out with Nick from the Rooted Leaf. And man, that dude is smart. He is smart. I've learned a lot from him lately. I've been doing a few live shows with him lately, and on a carbon-based or plant-based nutrients and stuff like that. And I've got to say, it's it's definitely been a good thing, and I've definitely learned some pretty cool shit from him, and definitely you know, opened my eyes and kind of made me excited to learn things again. You know what I mean? Instead of just being plateaued with the same boring thing, you know, over and over. So that's been pretty cool. He's a good dude.
I agree. I agree. I've been lucky enough to have him on the channel a couple of times. One
Oh, good.
time when a one-on-one like this, and Smiley did an organic takeover with him as well. And again, man, I'd love to see people that are passionate about what they do. And that, like you said, that dude has a lot of passion about the information that he's trying to get out there.
Yeah.
And I love to see that in people, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And he truly knows what he's talking about. You know, I've met a lot of people who are, they seem smart, but they're really just reverberating shit from books or stuff like that. And they don't necessarily know what that means. And, you know, some of the hardcorest weed nerds or whatever. I mean, not necessarily weed nerds, but, you know, these guys who could like, they could tell you the molecular structure of cannabis. But then you see their flower and you're like, bro, you know, I'm not seeing it, brother. You know what I mean? So, but he's definitely not one of those guys. And I mean, I'd borderline call him a genius. You know what I mean? Like say when he breaks it down, it's scientific, it's intelligent, but he knows how to put it to work, and he knows what the hell he's talking about. It's not just reverberating shit to sound cool. You know, so, good guy.
Yeah, we've been talking about this and that a little bit lately. The way that the cannabis community has grouped some people together, you know what I mean? And it's cool to see that the cannabis community has thrown somebody like Nick your way that's kind of reignited a little bit of passion in you about the organic side of things. It's super cool.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's cool to keep learning new stuff because that way it just doesn't become a routine. You know what I mean? I do this to my plants twice a week. You know what I mean? It gets you excited and you want to try new things or new techniques or, you know, stuff like that. Or, you know, even changing up the recipe to super soil and stuff like that. He gave me some cool ideas and stuff like that. And, you know, try this instead of that, or try that, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it's nice to stay enthused, you know, so as it should be with anything really.
Well, yeah, I think you have to kind of keep stepping up the bar. I mean, it's nice to have your garden beautifully on point, but at some point, repetition gets a little boring. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? Everything just showing up and doing the same thing. You gotta bring in a little bit of knowledge, and you want to up the bar a little bit. Is
Yeah.
hopefully natural.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even always about upping the bar. It's not even necessarily about making this bud better than my last run of bud. Sometimes it's just about trying something new, or just seeing the difference, that technique or that little additive, or whatever it might be, you know, how it works out. You know, like I say, kind of keeps you excited, keeps you interested. It's like I say, as opposed to just this regiment. You know what I mean? If I wanted a regiment, I'd go get a real job, you know.
Well, there's something to be said as somebody like yourself that has come from like the boxing, MMA type side of life. You know as well as I do that once you kind of pat yourself on the back and slough a little bit, life has a way of fucking knocking you off your pedestal there. So
Sure.
you kind of do keep yourself a little bit hungry and, you know,
Yeah.
keep at it.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah.
So is there any new releases coming out to the world anytime soon?
Yeah, currently I'm working on a breeding where hash gooberry is the father. So, which is a hash Duke Diamond's hash plant times my Af gooberry, which is the mother of 9 Pound Hammer. So, I had with my brain surgery and stuff, my memory has been so bad. So I actually got a few, like, so you see me looking down, I'm checking my notes and stuff because I'm like, oh. So, also I'm doing one a smaller batch to my Comfortably Dumb, which was a very popular strain that went out real quick. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of going to work with that a little bit. And same with the Ice Cream Dream. So I've actually crossed the Comfortably Dumb with the Ice Cream Dream, and I've been posting little pictures of the impregnated bud. You know what I mean? Like some people get a little confused and they think that's the new strain. It's not. I always try to say like this is Ice Cream Dream pregnant by Comfortably Dumb. So it's not actually the finished product. It's just those babies are in there, and that's what one of the ones we'll be test running next and stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. And the hash gooberry is a newer strain of mine, but it's just chronic. I just love it. So I decided to go ahead and hasn't been out that long, but I decided to go ahead and do a breeding with it. So and yeah. And like I say, we just released a couple new ones. One of them was the Hell on Wheels times main event, and Miss Rose did a name it contest. So if somebody could choose a name that she liked that we used, then I think she sends them like 3 packs of seeds or something like that. And she went with the name Main Squeeze, which is funny because that's like, I don't know, you might kind of be like, little more my age. That's something you said back in the day. Like if you're dating some girls, but one was like you're this girl you're seriously dating, like, oh, she's my main squeeze. That's something my dad would have said. So it's kind of funny. It's funny because Rose and I, we go back and forth, and we never like the same name. It's like she'll pick a name, and I was like, oh my god, I hate it, or vice versa. So sooner or later, one of us just wins the arm wrestling contest, and we just go with it. So she named the other new one too, which is Hella Lit, which is like not something I would have picked, but she really likes it. People seem to be responding to it. So she has one that I've completely vetoed though, which is Cray Cray. I go, that guy's cray cray. I'm just like, to me, it sounds like something a 14-year-old boy would say. You know what I mean? But like I say, I'm crusty and old, so that one ain't gonna make the list. But so she's actually named the last 2 strands. It's hard to come up with a good name. You want to be appealing to the public too. Not cray cray.
I dig the fact that you involve the community, at least on one of them, letting them kind of pick a name. That's some bragging rights there, man. I actually can see that dude being a salesman.
Yeah,
Fucking at that.
I've done it before. Yeah, I did it before a long time ago, and like I'm so weird about the names. Like I actually didn't like any of them. The whole contest. So Miss Rose took over this time. She's like, somebody's winning this contest, and there was a few names that she liked that were not necessarily naming the new strain, but something that she likes that she maybe wants to use in the future. So they'll get like second place prizes, so to speak. Like they might get a couple packs of seeds instead of 3 packs of seeds, or whatever she decides to send them. Something cool like that to make it with their time. So it is fun, and it's really funny going through the list of the names. And because the father was Hell on Wheels, we got all these hell names, but a lot of them sounded like record titles for satanic bands. I'm not going with something that sounds satanic. I mean, it's like, maybe if Slayer has an album naming contest or something, So it's pretty funny. So, but yeah, it's keeps people going back and forth, which is funny too. So.
Yeah. Mr. Scotto in chat wants to know if you have anything with some lime turps in it.
It always boils down to pheno. There's definitely a 9-pound hammer that does. There's definitely a go time that does. Dang, I almost would need the list of seeds in front of me. Like I said, my memory's so bad. Miss Rose actually made a book with me of all our strains and what they are, because sometimes I forget. Like I said, the biggest side effect of my brain surgery was memory loss. Sometimes like I'll be at a show and somebody's like, what's in this? And I'm like, hold on a second. I mean, it's a lot to remember, plus with a memory disorder. So Also, if you go to the website, it will give a description, you know, what kind of flavors and stuffs are in there. So right off the top, if you can, they're like with the 9-pound hammer, there's the purple pheno, and then there's the ones that tend to lean more towards the nice lime green color. The greener ones can definitely throw out some lime terps for sure. So, and then the go time also. So go time is one of the few sativa dominant strains that I have, because I need to breed more sativas, but I'm such an indica guy, it tends to not happen.
So when you're breeding out or thinking about possible strains, is that have a little bit to do with what you're crossing there, with things that you personally may like or want to have around?
Oh, a lot of times, yeah. Like I say, I'm a total indica guy. Like I don't smoke sativas. You know, like Subcool's Vortex, that shit would give me a panic attack. You know what I mean? Like I just can't deal with that uppity, especially since I became epileptic. Like it gives me straight anxiety. You know, it's like I don't want to. I smoke weed to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Not to be you know. So, but yeah, I'm all about the indicas. So because of that, unfortunately, there's not as many sativas on our menu as there probably should be. You know what I mean? So the things I seek out or try to do, you know. So, but you know, that's just how it goes, I guess. And like I say,
Man,
we're a pretty small operation. We can only breed so much at a time. So
that to me just symbolizes quality. You know, you're one looking over everything, kind of managing it, making sure everything's going the way you wanted to see it go. And I think there's a lot to be said about small craft operations, to be honest.
yeah, there has to be. You know, it's so important to me. Like I say, we do not release a strain without test growing it, and usually like 4 to 5 test growers, not just us. You know, I have a couple guys, Evan from Mary Jack's Garden. Um, God, I can't think of the other guy's name right now, but you know, they're like guys that always test grow for us. But then I always just get a few random dudes who I don't even know just from Instagram and stuff like that, and have them test out. And I get some of the best gardeners I know, and I always pick a couple guys who like barely can garden. And to tell you the truth, like the guys who barely can garden, I take their feedback more serious, because I figure if this guy, you know, who really doesn't know much or just isn't even a good gardener, can get that shit full term, still get chronic out of it, and no nanners or anything like that, then that's a stable strain. You know what I mean? So the unfortunate part for the people who love to buy my genetics is that takes a long time. It's, you know, once something's cropped, it takes 5 to 6 months to get it on the market. You know, but I just you know, like I say, it's you know, a lot of farmers aren't rich by any means, you know what I mean? And to go, you know, to go buy a pack or a couple packs of seeds is a big deal to them. And to think that, you know, you might sell them something that's just dookie or just might be lame or herm out or something like that, it's just it's brutal. I sure wouldn't want it to happen to me. I've seen big seed companies, you know, because there's some major seed companies who grow in like warehouses and shit. And you know, I've seen a couple of them that like, well, we're taking this down this week, and they'll announce the cross, and then like 2 weeks later, it's for sale. It's like, how could you? It's impossible to do a test grow in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's, and you know, a lot of these guys take big heat on social media too, but they're big, super rich dudes who really don't care. You know, for one, I wouldn't want to do it for somebody, and for two, I don't want to deal with the heat. You know what I mean? Like I say it all the time at shows. Like, you know, you sell somebody some good seeds, they'll tell 2 or 3 people. You sell somebody some dookie seeds, they're gonna tell every fool on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, then you get to deal with that. You know what I mean? It's like I don't need that shit. So I have taken, you know, I took a bag of seeds. It was a cross we did to albino rhino, and it's no disrespect to albino rhino. Obviously, I bred it for a reason. We have this beautiful pheno, but 3 different testers got nanners on it. I mean, it was a bag of seeds this big, and we just chucked it in the garbage, you know, and that wasn't easy to do. You know what I mean? It's like, say, we're not a huge company. That's you know, that's a lot of work and money to throw away. But at the same time, it's just it's not fair to do that to people. And like I said, I don't want to deal with that shit either. You know, it's not my nature to don't want to have to fight with 10 million people on Instagram every day, you know, or just even have that reputation. There's, you know, a few guys that are known as the Herm Kings, or not trying to join that club. So
Good friend of the show in chat, Johnny Canetseed, was asking if you were going to make it to Vegas this year.
I'm not sure what he means. Like, usually a lot of the shows in Vegas are Champs, and Champs is more of an industry show, and it's usually geared more towards smoke shops, like people that are selling glass or papers or, you know, screens or whatever you might find in a smoke shop and stuff. So I've been to Champs before, before I was a breeder as a glass blower, you know what I mean? And even as a glass blower, I didn't really care for it that much, you know, same thing, you know, I've met a few dudes and they would want 100 bongs, which sounds like a great deal, but they want 100 of the exact same bongs. You know, like they want them exactly 12 inches, you know, they want this, they want that. Where when I roll bongs, I just roll a bong, yo. That's not why I became a glass blower. Like, I never make the same bong twice. You know what I mean? So it's never been that great for me. Whenever I go anywhere, it also depends on the laws. Some of these shows I don't go to because you can't sell seeds there. You know, it's not legal, you know, stuff like that. So it kind of boils down to that. And, you know, also boils down to the show too. I gotta, you know, my goal at a show is to at least break even, you know, booth, plane ticket, you know, hotel. It adds up quick. Some of these booths are $3,000. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of packs of seeds, just, you know, so, you know, I guess kind of depend on what he's talking about as far as what show and what the laws are with Vegas, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And, you know, how the show advertises, you know, because turnout's important. I've been to a few shows where I'm just like, what the heck am I doing here? You know, there's 12 people. It's like, cost me $5,000 to get here, and I've sold 8 packs of seeds, you know. So it kind of boils down to that. Miss Rose decides most of that, though. She's the business side of JinxProof Genetics. So
Laura Camp says, what about Oklahoma? And we know there's good business in Oklahoma now.
hey, you know what? I've actually been to several shows in Oklahoma. I think it's Imperious Cannabis is some shows happening in Oklahoma again, and I will be there for sure. I won't be with the farm that I used to hang out with. Like I said, that's not a part of my life, nor will it ever be again. So I'll be rolling just JinxProof Genetics. You know what I mean? I've got a good friend in Oklahoma now, Evan from Mary Jack's Garden. I always need a person or two to hang out in the booth with me. For one, because I need help, and for two, and you know, in case something happens. Like, I had a massive seizure in the middle of HempFest one year. You know, what if what if I was there by myself? You know what I mean? So I always need somebody I can trust, and I need help. You know, packing orders and stuff like that. So the Oklahoma thing, I can't remember if Mr. Rose wrote it down here for me, but yeah, there is something coming up pretty soon in Oklahoma, and we will be there for sure. So I love Oklahoma. Actually, I have a great following there. The people there are always a lot of fun. You know, it's been a few times at the shows after Oklahoma. We just a bunch of people I don't even know. We all get together and go out to dinner and just, you know, kind of get to know each other and, you know, experience each other, so to speak. So yeah, I'll be back to Oklahoma. The Imperious show is actually Arizona. So I'm not sure if it's Imperious in Oklahoma that I'm going to, but I do know it's Imperious that I'm going to Arizona, and it'll actually be the first time I've ever gone to an Arizona show. So that's kind of exciting. I look forward to that.
Well, I know for a fact it is hard to make money at some of these shows. Just like you say, the price they want for some of these booths can be a crazy. At some point, it's more or less PR that you're getting to do in a lot of these cups,
Yes.
and I don't think people realize that it's more or less, you know, getting out there, meeting the people, and you know, the one-on-ones is well, a lot of
Yeah.
what you get from.
My goal is to break even, because then I can, like I say, you get some great PR. You get to meet a ton of these people you've been talking to on Instagram, maybe a couple of years. Like, you almost feel like you know them, but you've never actually come face to face with them, or, you know, just getting to talk to people. And just spreading some love, getting some love, and it's pretty fun actually. So if I can break even at a show, I'm happy. I don't need to leave, with pockets full of dough or anything like that. I mean, of course, I do make a living. I got to pay bills, so I wouldn't complain about that. But like I say, if I can just at least break even from airplane ticket, booth cost, a lot of times I have to rent a car, hotel, uh, usually I'm flying somebody with me, whether it be Dung Beetle or my brother or something like that too. So, but I took my brother to a Oklahoma show, and it's pretty funny because he's my oldest brother, Billy, and he's smoked a ton of weed in his life, but he's not a cannabis guy at this point, and his wife's not down for it. But he's like, man, I just look at your Instagram all the time, and I see you go to these shows. He's like, I'm so curious what you do, because he don't know nothing about growing or seeds. He's like, I'm so curious what you do. I was like, well, shit, come to a show with me, man. And he did. And I was like, if you're in the booth, you got to help out. Like I might be yelling orders out to you. Like I need two 9-pound hammers on the go time, and stuff the order for me and stuff like that. So he got to go with me, and it was funny because I have a habit of calling people brother. Like, me and you were hanging out and I introduced you like, oh, this is my brother, or this is my brother D Range, or. So whenever I'm like on live Instagram or something, he always chimes in and says, this is Billy. And he puts your actual brother, because that's how I introduce him. This is Billy, my actual brother. Same mom and dad. That's pretty funny, but it was cool seeing, it was fun watching him check it out too, because it's like he's in a whole nother world. He's a mailman, He'd been to no damn cannabis expo, so that was pretty cool.
So that's funny because that kind of relates to what I wanted to ask you next is have you ever gotten anybody in the booth for like temporarily help like that who doesn't necessarily realize the impact that cannabis has in certain people's life, and after a day of working in the booth or an event come to you and go, wow, I never realized you know the difference cannabis is making in people's lives.
Aside from my brother, not really, because most anybody I've ever taken with me is all about the community, is definitely a part. Like Dung Beetle's a big one. He's a hash consultant. Like right now, Shanti Bob has been flying him out to make hash for them, so he knows all about the community. And one, like I said, Evan, who is one of my test growers, he's been in the community for years. So I've never really straight brought somebody that really didn't know what was going down, or what was gonna go down or something like that, aside from my brother. But he really enjoyed it, especially there's a brother between us, so I'm his second to youngest brother, and he thought it was pretty cool seeing the impact. And he really liked I guess you could call it a testimonial, people that would come up and talk about how the positive movement thing has helped them, or for him to be able to see that, aside from just selling weed seeds, that we're actually making a commitment. And we always do fundraisers at the show too, and we usually do a pretty good amount of money for Northwest Families for Autism. He really enjoyed seeing that too, because my son is his nephew, so it was cool for him to see that. I mean, not that the money goes to him, but it was cool for him to see that we're doing something to help people that were, in the same situation we were, because when our son became autistic, we were lost. We didn't know what the hell was going on. So, it was pretty cool like that. And like I said, he's my big brother, So, and he's a nutball too. So, I have had a few problems in the industry. One guy got on this high horse to the point of where he was threatening me, and it was over some stupid shit that had nothing to do with me. And my brother was with me in Oklahoma. And we had someone else in the booth, and like, what if that dude shows up? I was like, bro, like my brother Billy, he don't look nothing like me. My three other brothers, if you lined us up, you're like, those dudes are brothers. Like we all look exactly the same shit. But my brother Bill, he's this big wide dude. He's bald headed. He's got a red beard, and he's covered in freckles. But he's like, that's his little brother, and he's a madman. So that dude would have showed up at the booth and started some shit. He'd have had a big problem. Once the bull came out of the gate, you know, be like, you know, I don't know if you have little brothers or kids, but you're like somebody messing with your little brother, your kid, it's a whole nother story. So it was kind of funny like that too. So I had my bodyguard with me.
Let's invoke us some special energy there for sure.
Yeah. So it didn't happen, so
Uh,
that's good.
right. Fellow, another community great in the chat there, NB Closet Med Growers asking about a common friend we have. Do you have any more projects lined up with Dung Beetle? He's a good friend and makes hash. Dung Beetle is a good dude that has kind of stayed in the industry, but kind of quietly faded a little bit back. How's he doing? And do you have any projects lined up with him?
You know, it's always random with Dung. We a lot of times I bring him to shows just kind of as my right hand man, or like I say, if you know, if something were to happen to me, like say I have had a seizure at a show before, and it was a major seizure, like you know, he would look out for me, or you know, I know he would look out for my property in the booth, you know, or you know, he would be quick to call Miss Rose, and you know, she always preps him on what to do if I did have a seizure, and not really. I don't know that I would say he's faded into the scene. Really, he's just maybe not on camera as much because he does hash consultation, and he's been doing it for Shanti Baba, which in my opinion is a pretty big compliment. You know what I mean? He actually comes here to Washington to do it. I mean, people who don't know who Shanti Baba is, I call him the European Subcool. You know what I mean? And he's a, you know, one of the old school guys, has created, you know, the strain, the hazes, you know, all that stuff, and you know, pretty, you know, and they take care of him, and man, that kid makes some bomb hash. You know what I mean? I mean, just it always blows my mind every time I see him work or do something. And you know, he's kind of a silly guy. But man, you start talking about hash, and you know, you're talking to a scientist. You know, he's way over my head once he starts talking. I'm like, huh? You know, so he's doing his thing, and he's doing good. We had actually a project in Oklahoma where we were gonna make a bunch of hash for somebody, and it just wasn't a good deal, and you know, it it just turned out to not be a good deal for us, so we just kind of bowed out and you know went and did our thing instead of you know, like I said, I wanted to air people's dirty laundry and shit, but you know, they kind of disrespected us and didn't stick to what they were supposed to do, or you know, so we just got on a plane and went home, you know. So but he's definitely my little brother. I love that dude. He's a great guy, he's a good friend. You know, he's always got my back and vice versa. And he's a fun dude to hang out with because he's silly. You know what I mean? He's got a great sense of humor, and he can take a great sense of humor. So we rib on each other a lot. I call it verbal kung fu. And so the whole time we're together, it's a kung fu match, you know. So
That's funny. The verbal kung fu.
yeah, but any people out there that need hash makers, it's a Dung Beetle 024. So instead of 420, it's a Dung Beetle 024. Check him out. And like I say, he's a hash consultant. So he comes out, basically teaches crews what to do. And then usually later they fly him out again for a follow-up. And then hopefully by then they're on their own, you know. So
The last time you were on, you were working with Ned Denver is asking, you're still working with Carter Creek, or if you moved on from that project?
all I'm gonna say is absolutely not. So
Right now.
you know, like I said, I don't want to start an online war or anything with that, but nah, absolutely not. You know,
No
so,
need to.
yeah,
I agree. There's no need to
yeah,
promote bad energy.
yeah.
Cool. Well, heck yeah, man. Trying to think of what we may have missed on this round, James.
Well, I wanted to ask you because I saw that speed bag in the back there. What's up with that? You a speed bagger?
Yeah, I like to play still. I try to stay somewhat healthy and active, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I did box a little bit back in the day, and I still, like I said, try to keep active. Nothing serious, but
Yeah.
it's what I appreciate about the heavy bag. I find it to be, or not the heavy bag, but the speed bag, is man, it's a lot like meditation there, man. Once
Oh
you get
yeah.
into a good rhythm, man, you can really let a lot of anxiety or whatever you're thinking about kind of fade in the bag, and it's amazing how with even being in that kind of state of mind of not even or even that I've had times where I've solved some good problems on the speed bag, to be honest with you.
Sure.
And it's amazing how you can keep that rhythm and still think about shit, to be honest with you. Think you know, problem solving abilities while still keeping rhythm with that bag. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of to the
Yeah.
speed bag.
Yeah. I've been teaching Jinxie Jr. to do it and been posting it on my Instagram a little bit lately. So I'm all about speed bagging. Like I love it. And it's not just me and my little brother used to box at the boys club when we were younger, but for me the speed bag it's more than like a boxing practice. Like I like to get into the like the tricks, you know, like in and out and the doubles and walking in a circle all the way around the bag while you're punching it, or you know, like a lot of people see Boomy. I call him Boomy Junior. He'll hit it with his fist and then he'll come in with an elbow. Like right now, I got him to where I'm teaching him to where he hits it with his fist, and then on the bounce back, he does a elbow fist. So it's like a double. It's like dunk, ba-dunk. You know what I mean? Ba-dunk, ba-dunk, dunk, ba-dunk. And it was really cool because there's a guy I like called Speedbag Skunk on YouTube. The dude is out of control. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, out of control. Check him out. You'd be like, that dude's like, that shit's not possible. But he's also runs a smoke shop. So out of the blue, one day I noticed there's this dude who's got Junior's video. He's reposted it on Instagram, and I looked it up and I was like, oh damn, it's the Speedbag Skunk. You know, so it was pretty cool. Like, you know, because like in the speedbag world, the dude's a star. You know what I mean? Like, say he's out of control. So for him to have reposted Junior's videos was really cool to see. And you know, he's I think Instagram, he's like Zach Ruffalo or something like that, but dude's a maniac. Like say he actually will speed bag to songs, you know, like where he's actually hitting that bag to the rhythm of the song, you know, like straight up. It's pretty damn cool. He's amazing. So he's been a big inspiration for me because I love speed bagging myself. Been at it a minute, and you know, I've gotten pretty good. So man, like you said, it's a great release, and it's good exercise too. You get a roll going, you know, at the end of a fast roll, your arms are burning. Your arms are burning, you know. So
It's good to keep those arms moving anyway, especially the older we get, man. It's key to stay moving, keep them arms bending
yeah,
over, all that shit, man.
yeah. I
And I
often
am close. I just turned 50, so I am like
oh shit.
close to you.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little
Good
brother your
call.
age. I got a little brother your age. So, but yeah, I often talk about Boomy's MMA coach, and he loves my son so much. Like, I mean, since Boomy will be there 10 years this month is their 10-year anniversary, and it's funny because we moved dojos because they had to move because of a rent issue, and when they moved the dojo, they didn't move the speed bag. And I was bummed. I was like, because it's a part of his routine aside from exercise and playing with the kids. We always hit the speed bag. And I was like, Coach, like, what's up? Like, is the speed bag gonna make it? He's like, no, I didn't make it. And I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll buy one and have like a carpenter professionally install it. You know, like it's that big a deal to me. He's like, nah, that damn thing. And only time anybody ever hits it is when I'm talking, you know, like when I'm lecturing the team and shit like that. And I was like, okay, I'm not, you know, I got a lot of respect for Coach. I'm not going to push him. He said no, you know what I mean? So, but then one day I come to practice about a couple months later, and he's got these giant pieces of wood, and they're cut into a perfect circle, and they're all stained and sand and stuff. Well, he's like, check it out. Look what I'm making. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And I looked at him, and he had three of them stacked on top of each other. And I was like, a table? Like, it looked like a coffee table because it was all stained and cherry stained and all this shit. And then he looks at me and he holds up a swivel and a bag. And I was like, oh, you're building the speed bag And I don't care what you say, you're building that for Junior. Because like say, they are so close, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I was like, I know damn well that that you're building that for your boy. You know what I mean? It was so cool. And the 3 pieces away, because the thicker it is, the better the bounce back. So he's like building a fatty, and the thing is fast and it's badass. And it was so cool to see him do that, to take his personal time to hand build one. And and it's funny. And so and to this day, Junior hits it more than anybody. I mean, like I said, it's not a huge part of MMA, you know what I mean? But so it was pretty neat. So
That's super cool, man. That's super cool, man.
yeah, it sure is. It really touched me, like I say, because he's not just his coach. That's his boy. That's Coach is almost like Junior's best friend, because he don't play with a lot of kids. You know what I mean? But when he goes to MMA, he plays with Coach. Like like they actually bounce the ball back and forth together, but he don't do that with kids. You know what I mean? His autism's kind of weird socially like that, but like Coach is like his best friend. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, it's Coach is this big giant dude. He looks like Mr. Clean, and he's super serious, hardcore. Like I always joke, like Coach wouldn't cry at his mom's funeral. I mean, he's like that kind of old school guy. But one day Junior walks up to her leaving, he looks at him and says, "I love you, Coach." It was so funny. Like Coach's eyes got these big giant tears, and he turned around and he ran to his office. He's like, "I gotta go to my office." He didn't want to cry in front of all his students. It was like, "Oh, I saw you, bro." Which just makes me love him even more. Know that that he cares about him so much that it would actually bring him to tears. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat. And it's funny because Coach is not a cannabis guy at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's not anti-cannabis. He knows tons of MMA fighters use cannabis and all this and that. And he kind of took me aside one day and he's like, "Are you famous in the weed world?" Because some of the people at MMA have figured out who I am, or maybe they follow me or something. I don't know, but it was so funny. I was like, well, I don't like to use the word famous, but I'm definitely part of the cannabis industry. And I brought him a couple magazines and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Super cool.
Day in the life
Just a
of Junior.
small place in the cannabis community.
Yeah. It was pretty funny, but he respects it. He thinks it's cool. He made a dent, because he's made a dent too. When the UFC comes to town, the UFC fighters come to our dojo and either roll with Coach or even take a lesson. Like, he's a bad man. You know what I mean? Like, he's a super genius when it comes to MMA. It's pretty cool. So
That's super cool. Really cool. Yeah, this has been a fun episode. I'm trying to make sure I've covered everything that I wanted to cover tonight. Oh, so the last time I talked to you, Doc said no smoking, and you were kind of leaning to the vape, just the vape cartridges. Have you adhered to the doctor's orders, or have you kind of reverted, taking a couple of puffs here and there and there?
couple here and there. I'm still using the vape pens. We have a store close to our house, and they have a company that makes really good, clear, no, none of the glycol or whatever that. It's just hash oil. So, I'll tell you the truth, I can smoke like half as much and get twice as stoned. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm all about the bong, because to me, it's not just about taking bong hits. For me, it's like, I'm not a joint smoker. I'm not a pipe smoker. To me, there's something about loading that bong hit, lighting it up, and it's snapping through, and then you pull the bowl and clean the tube. There's such a ritual to it. You know what I mean? So I have been taking some small bongs. I try to only smoke through water, because that's obviously, well, less harmful. I'm not gonna say not harmful, but uh, smoking is the #1 cause of heart disease, whether it's weed or cigarettes or whatever. So, but I'm slowly tiptoeing back there and stuff, and let give my heart a chance to recoup too. So my last few times I've been to the doctor, he says I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, it's 100% recovered and stuff like that. Because I was starting to exercise and work out, but I couldn't, because he didn't want me to get my heart pumping like that. You know what I mean? So I'm on the verge of getting back to that too. I mean, I'm not a workout guy like trying to get buff, but I'm 53. It's the older you get, the easier it is to get fat, So just kind of maintain a little, I gotta keeping up with Miss Rose ain't easy, yo. So, but yeah, that's kind of where that's at right now. So, and then one of the parts too was when I quit smoking for a while there, it dumped my tolerance. So I had to be careful. Like one time I just went, I'm gonna take a bong hit, went out and took a big fat bong hit, popped the bowl, cleaned the car. I was so fucking stoned, like almost too stoned, you know what I mean? Like it was like, whoa, like I felt like a kid again, It hit me hard. So have to rebuild the
That being
tolerance.
said, has it changed your opinion on some of your strains? Have you went back and tried some of them and went, well, wow, that's a little more potent than I remember it.
Absolutely. But Seattle, they're the farms here are fairly JinxProof friendly, so it's often that I can go to like I said, we got a store right here. It's a nice little independent store, and a lot of times they'll have my strains, like especially 9 Pound Hammer. I've gotten Go Time a couple times, and randomly they'll have my stuff, so that's kind of fun too to see how that goes. And like I say, the one company is just essential oil. It's no glycol or any of that stuff that makes it like super smoky or whatever. It's just hash oil, you know what I mean? So that's nice. So it's always nice to see that up there too. And the bud tenders are all young guys, so they all know who I am when I go in there, and they're always like, check it out, bro, we got some 9 Pound Hammer or some coat. Like I don't even have to look, they just point it out right away, which is pretty cool. Pretty fun.
So Chad is asking if that awesome hat is available on the website, or can they grab one somehow?
They just came out. It's got the big B positive on the side and the autism awareness. Last time I made them, the company screwed up the order and they put like the little belt thing on the back, kind of like the old man hats. These ones are snapbacks, have the flat bills. I also have a couple what they call dad hats with the rounded bill, but mostly these guys. When you go to the website, last time I used a different company, they also did the JinxProof wrong, and it's like this big. Instead, I like it like this, bow. So when you go to the website, you'll see the old hat. I have a lady that runs my website for me. She might have updated. I sent her some pictures, so you might see this hat, but you'll see pictures of the old hat, but it's this hat that you'll get. So yeah, they are up there and ready now. So sorry, I clicked this thing off my computer here. Looks like my battery's getting low, but
You have another Heli Doc, I want to say, is asking JinxProof, as someone who has suffered from seizures, what strains do you find that has worked for you? You have an answer for that?
Well, definitely indicas. Like I say, sativas actually will give me anxiety. You know what I mean? Like before I have a seizure, a lot of times I feel anxiety, like my mouth might water, or that feeling you get when you go down an elevator too quick. Like I'll get that, that drop in your stomach. I'll get that, but it won't go away. Instead of a few seconds, like I'm experiencing it for like 20 minutes. And it's just a terrible feeling. It's funny when you're a kid and the elevator drops, your dad drives over a hill real quick in your stomach, but when it's like lasting like that, it's just terrible. So sativas do that to me like we were having a barbecue one time, and I had to leave the barbecue for a minute and like go lay down in my bedroom and stuff because it was about to give me a panic attack, you know what I mean? Which is something I never thought I'd say, panic attack, but so definitely indicas, maybe a hybrid if it's indica dominant, but any specific strain, I mean, I would probably say 9 Pound Hammer because it's so strong. You know what I mean? It'll definitely like boom, slow you down. You know what I mean? And when they give you medicine to avoid a seizure, they give you like Xanax or Valium. And if you feel like you're going to have a seizure, you're supposed to either put it under your tongue or chew it up and swallow it because I mean, anybody who's ever taken Xanax knows it's, it drops you. So the indica has that effect without the narcotic effect. Like I have Xanax for emergencies. Like if I know I'm about to have a seizure, but I hate the feeling. Like sometimes it's happened. One time I refused to take one because I hate that feeling, that kind of stumbling, plus I was at a show at Hemp Festival places, and I actually did have a seizure. And it really pissed Rose off because she was trying to get me to take one, and it most likely would have stopped my seizure. But I didn't want to be at Hempfest all high on Xanax. So definitely the heavy indicas. You know what I mean? So even if you're not smoking them, the oils are great. So stuff like that. And of course, CBDs. CBDs definitely help prevent. I'm not going to say that CBD would stop a seizure, but they definitely will prevent them from happening. Like we all know that the Charlotte Webb story, that little girl and what it did for her. So definitely CBDs.
I'll call this one the last question because I don't want to overstay the welcome. I do want to get you back another day for a fun.
I'd say it's all good, but I'm getting a little pop-up that I'm on the laptop and I'm not plugged in. It's telling me my battery's going to go dead pretty soon. So
Australian grown would like to know, and mainly because we talked about it getting around the world. Is there any vendors that send to Australia? They want some Jinx gear there. Is there a vendor that sends that way?
JinxProof dankbank.com. If you go to my Instagram, there's a link in the bio. I've sent plenty of packages to Australia. For a minute, when COVID first came out, they put a freeze on mail. So it kind of stopped that. But from what I understand, they're back and they're sending packages all the way to Australia. And I've had quite a few people order from Australia, to tell you the truth. So yeah, hit up our website. We're not a huge company. For a minute, I supplied a few seed banks, like the bigger ones, Attitude Seed Bank and Choice Seed Bank. But once we got our own site up, I don't make enough seeds to supply them and still keep my own site stocked. And those big sites, they want seeds so cheap. You know what I mean? So they can resell them and, at crazy prices, like we're still $50 a pack, believe it or not. You know what I mean? 10 years, I've only raised.
We lost him. He warned it was flashing. Oh man, what a bummer. Hope we'll give it a couple of minutes to see if he comes back, logs on his phone. If not, he did tell us that he was blinking over there. But what a great episode with Mr. JinxProof. I do have tons of respect for Jinx. That is for sure. All the work he does in the cannabis community, that is no joke. I do, in fact, believe he is an A1, A plus person in the canna community. And man, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm always grateful for these times with these great people. So I'm not bummed nonetheless. I would have liked to say goodbye, but it is what it is, man. Batteries only take us so far. So I guess I get say to everybody, a couple of little highs to some folks in chat, see if he comes back and says goodbye. Of course, much love to all the folks in chat, martial artists or loyalty organic, Smiley's Gardens, NB Closet Grower was here. Much respect to Indra, Smiley's Gardens. I got tons of respect for you, my friend. We just 207, Date Knowledge, Voodoo Ultra, Stony Creek. Cheers to you guys, Florida Nugs. I think it's about time we get you on the show, my friend. Seymour Cuts, Southern BT Grower. Cheers, you. Go 79 Hillbilly Grower. Diggity Dank, Australian Grown, the Major General 420 Army. Cheers to you, my friend. Much respect to you and other fellow growers up there in Canada. Man, a lot of fire being grown up there. Burning Tree Nursery, Maine. Cheers to you, Sunny Chiva. Much respect there, Lord Camp. Man, the list just goes on and on. 420 Green Garden, Green Goddess. Cheers to you, Jay Stoner. Who else have we got here in chat? So many great folks. Even webcam showed up. That's funny. Jonathan Candace, much love to you. Let's miss Green Fingers, can't miss him. SoCal was here tonight as well. Cheers. Well, we got Troy Smalley. Cheers to you. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and call it. He did kind of give us that warning. If you're watching, Jinx, tons of respect to you. Thank you again for an amazing episode, round 3. Very grateful for that 3rd round. And hopefully we'll get a chance to do a 4th round as well. With that being said, give me a few minutes to water these plants behind me before I get started a working weed nerd world, because I do have a shit ton of stuff I got to do, but I want to do fire it up and get everybody rolling. And smoked at least one with everybody before I fade into the back and get some stuff going. But with that being said, hopefully I'll see you guys about 30 in the weed nerd world. If not, thank you guys very much for your time, man. Your time, your views, your time in chat means the world to me. And I can't express that more than that, but trust me, you guys do mean a lot. With that being said, do not forget the most important thing: random acts of kindness do save lives. I'm going to keep beating that beat drum till the day I die. With that being said, remember, it's too easy. And I will see you guys here in a few minutes, 30 minutes to be exact. We'll call it one. We'll just go ahead and 1:45. 1:45, we'll fire it back up. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for tuning in. I am